Hello, I am Nisi Tunaki here, Assistant Professor. This is in regard to the video presentation assigned by Legar Muslim University for FIP. Without further ado, let us proceed to learning. Meaning of educational psychology. The objective in this video is to learn the meaning of educational psychology. First of all, in order to learn this meaning of educational psychology, we will learn what education is, the origin of psychology, the meaning of psychology, and lastly, what educational psychology is. As we all know what education is about, let us go through again. Now, education, it is an attempt to mold and shape the behavior of the students. Therefore, its aim is to produce desirable changes in the students or an individual for the all-round development of their personalities. Now let's look into the origin of psychology. There was a time where there was no such subject as psychology. Now the study of mind was covered under a separate branch of philosophy called mental philosophy. Hence, psychology, it is a legitimate child of philosophy. Therefore, psychology originated from the discipline of philosophy. Now let us look into the meaning of psychology. Etymologically, the word psychology, it was derived from two Greek words, psyche and logos. The word logos stands for rational discourse of a study. However, the meaning and interpretation of the word psyche, it has been in a state of changing from time to time, leading to the following four stages of its evolution. Now we will look into the four stages of evolution of the meaning of psychology. Now psychology, at first, it was defined as a study of soul. However, the inability to answer questions such as what is soul, how can it be studied, and so on faced criticism. This led to the search for a new meaning of the word psyche. Now we all know that the word soul, the study of soul, is itself vague and meaning and mysterious, all right? It cannot be studied. In order to study something, we will have to be able to observe, be able to see, be able to touch. Whereas soul, it is vague and mysterious. Therefore, the meaning of psychology as the study of soul was rejected. In the second stage, the philosophers, psychologists, they try to define psychology as the study of the mind. Now, although the word mind was less vague and mysterious than soul, it faced the same criticisms with questions like, what is mind? How can it be studied? All right. Although the study of mind, the word mind, is less vague than the psychology as a study of soul, it faced the same criticism because mind is something that we cannot objectively touch and study. There is no procedure such as how to study our mind. Therefore, it was rejected. Thirdly, William James, William Wundt, and Edward Bradford, they define psychology as the study of consciousness. Now, according to this psychology, the description and explanation of the state of consciousness is the task of psychology, which is usually done by introspection. So, according to them, an individual can be studied through the state of consciousness, which can be done by introspection. Now, the word introspection is itself very subjective. In introspection, one person cannot study the mind of another person, cannot study what is going on. All right. A person can study only himself. Therefore, this itself is very subjective. Now, this definition too was rejected on the ground that it has a very narrow visions, as well as it did not include subconscious and unconscious activity of the mind. Therefore, how about when a person is in a subconscious mind? How about when he is unconscious? A person cannot study the subconscious or the unconscious activity of the mind. Therefore, this again was rejected. Now, fourthly, in this stage, the word study was replaced by science. And it was William McDougall who replaced consciousness with total behavior. Okay. So now here in this stage, psychology is the study of total behavior. Now later in 1913, J.B. Watson, who is also known as the father of behaviorism, proposed to elaborate the concept of term behavior by including in its both human as well as animal behaviors, and consequently he defined psychology as the science of behavior. So till to this day, psychology is known as the study or the science of behavior. Now psychology, it is a positive developing positive science which enables us to study behavior of a living organism in relation to his environment. So in short, what is psychology? Psychology is the science of behavior. It studies a person's or animal behavior. Now let us learn what educational is about. According to Skinner, this is a definition given by the psychologist. According to Skinner, he defined educational psychology as that branch of psychology which deals with teaching and learning. Okay, so according to Skinner, he said that educational psychology is a branch of psychology which deals with teaching and learning. Okay, so it is in an educational environment, educational context. According to Crow and Crow, he defined educational psychology describes and explains the learning experiences of an individual from birth through old age. So this definition is broader. According to Crow and Crow, define it as educational psychology. It describes and explains the learning experiences of an individual from his birth till his old age. Now we know from the definition that educational psychology is a branch of applied psychology. Now it attempts to apply the knowledge of psychology into the field of education. As educational psychology is a branch of applied psychology, educational psychology attempts to apply the knowledge of psychology into the field of education. Now it consists of the application of psychological principles and techniques to human behavior in educational institution. Okay, so in educational psychology, it applies psychological principles and technique to human behavior in educational context. In other words, educational psychology is a study of the experiences and behavior of the learner or the students in relation to educational environment. In conclusion, while psychology it deals with the behavior of all the individual in walks of life, educational psychology limits its study to the behavior of the pupil in relation to educational environment. Here it says that psychology deals with the behavior of all the individuals, all right? Whereas in educational psychology, it limits its study only to the behavior of the students in relation to educational environment. We have to know that educational psychology, it is not a perfect science. It has its own drawbacks. Because the human behavior, personalities are dynamic, it keeps on changing and it is unpredictable. Therefore, educational psychology, which is the applied behavioral science, it cannot claim objectivity as exactness and validity as claimed by natural sciences or even applied sciences like medicines and engineering. So that is all in this video. Thank you.